The NBA offseason is now in full effect, and with that comes a lot of speculation about what will be done, what needs to be done, and what could be done in order to make certain teams better and prepared to either get the NBA title or try and repeat in the case of the Lakers. But with so many situations in regards to teams, their player contracts, and their tax limits, things may not be as basic as you might expect. So allow us to show you 10 NBA offseason predictions that will change the game. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel.
Just a reminder about our new giveaway. We're giving away the new iPad Pro or the new iMac Pro. The choice is yours. All you have to do is watch the full video, leave a like, comment the keyword hidden in the video, and make sure you're subscribed. It's that simple.
Number 10, the Celtics bring back Isaiah Thomas. The Boston Celtics are in a bit of state of limbo right now because there is little doubt that they're a good team, and they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals not once, but 3 different times under coach Brad Stevens, but each time they have failed to bust through, even with the stacked roster that they had in the bubble playoffs. Problem is that given their contracts and such, they can't afford to make a big signing, so they need to go and get a player who can totally ball, but do it at a low price. Thus, our prediction is that they might try and get back Isaiah Thomas. When Thomas was on the Celtics, he could ball, and he was one who took the team to the Eastern Conference Finals first under Stevens, and showed that size doesn't always matter. He wouldn't be the star like he was before. However, he would be able to either come off the bench for big points and big energy, and take pressure off of Kemba Walker and Jason Tatum. That one move might just be enough to push them over the hump. Number 9, the Nets won't trade for a big star right away. The Brooklyn Nets are a bit of a question mark in terms of how good they will be, because they signed Kevin Durant last offseason, knowing that he wouldn't be able to play the season that just ended, and he didn't. They have Kyrie Irving, but he too was injured much of the year. They have a deep roster in many people's minds, and as such, the question now is, will they all gel together? No one can honestly say, not even Kyrie, and he says a lot. And let's not forget, they have an unproven coach in Steve Nash. So for them to make a big trade in the offseason might be foolish, so we don't think that they'll actually do it. They'll want to keep the pieces they have right now, more or less, and then see how the first half of the season goes in order to predict what they might need for a big playoff push. So in their case, patience is their best weapon, because no one knows what to expect from them when basketball starts up again. Number 8, the Bulls trade Zach LaVine. The NBA is built on players, as you all likely know, and one that is getting a lot of rumors swirling around him is the Chicago Bulls player Zach LaVine, who proved last season to be an offensive powerhouse, getting about 26 points per game with a struggling Bulls team. Now, on the plus side for him, there are a lot of teams that could use an extra scoring presence. The problem is, though, that they would be getting his contract with just 2 years before he becomes a free agent. So thus, if he doesn't play well, or he doesn't like the situation he is in after 2 years, he can very easily just walk away. This might make it tough for players to go for him unless they really need a point scorer, so it's honestly a 50-50 situation as to whether LaVine gets traded or not. Number 7, the Mavericks get a defensive presence. There were many surprising things that happened last season, outside of the obvious pandemic, and one of them was the true re-emergence of the Dallas Mavericks, led by Luka Doncic. In the regular season, they were a powerhouse of offensive efficiency, and if it wasn't for a key injury in the playoffs, they might have made even a bigger impact. The problem, though, is that they don't have the key defensive people to make them valuable on the opposite side of the court. And that is why our next prediction is that they're going to try and get a major defensive player to help them out. But who is available? 2 names jump out: Rudy Gobert from the Utah Jazz and Danny Green from the Lakers. Both are known for their defensive presence, and Gobert was the back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year before Giannis took his title. Now, if they can get either one of them, it might hurt their offensive a little, but it would make them more of a rounded team, which is exactly what they need right now. Number 6, Golden State gets a big man. Another major question for the next NBA season is, will the Golden State Warriors bounce back? They went from dynasty to dead in just 1 season because of key departures and injuries. But next season, they'll be back at full power and ready to take a shot at the Lakers and Clippers to reclaim their dominance in the West. But they need some help. With the Lakers having AD and the Clippers having Paul George, they need a big man, and the good news is that they have options because of their number 2 draft pick and some other deals that they've made along the way. Now, the big idea going around is them getting Aaron Gordon from the Orlando Magic. He's a good player on a bad team, but he is also a great defender that would fit their style. They could easily get him for a trade with picks and get him under a mid-level exception contract. They would shore them up and give them a big presence in the paint for when the time comes. Of course, there is rumors that they could go after Giannis. Number 5, the Rockets are open to everyone being traded. The Houston Rockets are easily one of the biggest what-if questions in recent years, including the what if Chris Paul hadn't gotten hurt against the Warriors. But despite all their big moves, big trades, and big style changes like small ball, they still haven't made it to the finals with James Harden, Chris Paul, or Russell Westbrook. As a result, both their head coach and GM are now gone. So where does this team go from here? No one knows. That's the problem. However, with a new head of the team on 2 different levels, it could be that they just open the door and go, who do you want and what will you offer? Yep, that might just blow up the team. With players like Harden, Westbrook, and Eric Gordon, they have a lot to offer. The only question is, what will people offer in return? Nothing could come of this, obviously, but hey, something could. Number 4, the Clippers will do what? If you're looking for disappointments in the recent NBA season, you need to look at the Clippers. During the regular season, it seemed like destiny that we would get a Battle of LA, and yet the Clippers struggled heavily in the playoffs, including blowing 2 3-1 leads and losing to the Nuggets in the semifinals. The problem, though, is that most people agree that the Clippers have a squad. It was just that the bubble and other circumstances led to them not performing to expectations. Thus, they might not do anything. Keep the squad they have and just get more playing time under their belt to make sure that they mesh more, especially with new coach Tyronn Lue on board. Number 3, the Heat get DeMarcus Cousins. The Miami Heat were a major surprise in the NBA this year and went all the way to the finals, but their lack of size killed them against LeBron and AD. They need a big man to help them out. One that might be available is DeMarcus Cousins, who is still in the league and making a presence when he can. He also has a good friendship with Jimmy Butler, so if they can sign him and he stays healthy, it could play out in their favor. Number 2, the 76ers Conundrum. Do you trust the process? Most want it at this point, and hey, we don't blame them. Mainly because, well, it hasn't worked at all. Now, yes, the 76ers have tried to right the ship by signing Doc Rivers, but their player situation is still something to worry about. Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons do not get along at all, so their conundrum might be whether to trade one of them. Our bet would be they consider getting rid of Simmons for some key role players to support Embiid, but who will take the bite on Simmons? Hard to say. Number 1, the Lakers will try and get another big scorer. It may seem odd that the Lakers would want to do anything with their team, considering they're now the champs, but even LeBron will admit that not everything was as smooth as they would have wanted. They had some big breaks in terms of injuries on the team that they were playing that definitely affected the series they were in. Plus, while AD and LeBron are on point, the depth of their roster is inconsistent at times. Thus, the Lakers will be open to trading to try and get another major scorer or supporter on the team, and rumors are that LeBron really wants Chris Paul. So what do you think? What do you think of these offseason predictions that could change how the NBA looks going into next season? Which ones do you think are likely to happen or aren't likely to happen? Which teams do you think will make the best moves or the worst ones? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.